ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hello and welcome back to Duran ASEAN. You're with Gowri here on our ASEAN Daily, where we bring you news from Monday to Friday about Southeast Asia and other parts of the Asia Pacific. So for now, as for our business section, there is a little update on what's happening with the EU-Asean Business Council. They are apparently launching ASEAN Market Access Paper, and this is a step forward in terms of making the trade easier between EU and ASEAN. So the the EU and the ASEAN Business Council, which is the voice of the European business in Southeast Asia, has launched a region-wide position paper of recommendations to boost market access as well as increase trade and investments between Europe and ASEAN. And in the statement, they also said that Europe has actually been the largest source of foreign direct investment. And the position paper explores even more opportunities for them to open up and do business with the ASEAN Economic Community, the AEC blueprint that is supposed to be happening this year. And what is on top of the list are a few important things, like the elimination of non-tariff barriers to trade. And this paper also highlights some of the issues like custom procedures, harmonization across ASEAN, as well as some unpredictable application of these regulations and procedures, which will be impacting the business's ability to make informed long-term investment decisions. So this whole paper is to facilitate the process of business and trade deals between EU and ASEAN, and other issues that include restrictions on foreign ownership, foreign competition, lack of harmonized standards, or lack of mutual recognition of such standards across the region. And also in line with the launch, EU has published in its latest EU-ASEAN trade and investment statistics, confirms that EU is ASEAN's second most important trading partner after China. So China is actually still our biggest trading partner, accounting for 13% of ASEAN's trade in goods, it said. And also between 2004 and 2014, over a span of 10 years there, we have seen the EU-ASEAN trade grow at an annual compound rate of 4.7%, with the trade balance very much in ASEAN's favor. And Singapore is another important trading partner in ASEAN, accounting for at least 25.1% of the ASEAN-EU trade in goods, followed by Malaysia, 18.8%, Thailand, and Vietnam. Apart from that, the EU ambassador to Singapore has also said that EU has a very huge stake in the continued success of Singapore, and ASEAN is committed to a vibrant and dynamic region where enhanced trade, investment, and business links create new opportunities for economic growth. So as ASEAN's second biggest trading partner, it seems that they are coming up with all this paperwork to make it easier for EU to come into this region and to facilitate the whole paperwork and in terms of trade and business agreements to make it easier in ASEAN. And the paper also comes at an important time where ASEAN is actually preparing to launch the AEC later this year, to be precise, in December 2015, which will be in December. And moving on, we also have assessing foreign investment prospects in ASEAN through the Business Optimism Index. And one of the country that is only contributing 6% of ASEAN's total GDP is actually Vietnam, but it is being noted as the star performer in the region for the coming quarter, with overall confidence rising from 27% to up to 43%. And this rise has been attributed to sales volume, net profit, new orders, which is also increasing of up to 30 percentage in points. And Vietnam's strong growth and optimism is also said to be driven primarily by its construction and manufacturing sectors. Their manufacturing sector especially is expected to also grow by over 8% this year. even on a year-on-year basis for the first half of 2015, and this will be driving Vietnam's GDP to an expected of 6.1%. So they will be increasing up to 6.1% over the same period. And another country to look out for is actually Singapore. There's been some news that Singapore might be heading into recession, but seems that the confidence among investors is still consistently optimistic, and it extends also the positive gains made during the second and third quarter. And this optimism growth overall was very respectable across the parameters, which is led especially by the service sector in Singapore. And the service sector is also known to be the most helpful sector in Singapore, and provides Singapore a space to lead in terms of economic growth. And both their construction and manufacturing sector has also picked up strongly, and their manufacturing sector especially has been staging a drastic turnaround. There's also been some issue about their restrictions on foreign workers and how that has been affecting the manufacturing sector, but it seems that Philippines will be able to turn things around. And of course, another country to look out for is Indonesia, which accounts for over 38% of ASEAN's total GDP. And the business confidence overall seems to be dampened by weak commodity prices and also some sluggish reports, which is increasingly reliant on private consumption and investment for growth. But the business optimism in Indonesia as well registers at 35%, which is still relatively high. And another country that we like to talk about, of course, is our very own country, which is Malaysia. And Malaysia accounted for 13% of ASEAN's total GDP in 2014. And it has also seen business confidence plummeting to historic lows, with the overall index hovering at only about 2.5%. And Malaysia has, of course, been in light of a lot of negative news, and that has also been affecting the investors' confidence, especially some of the flight tragedies that has led to natural disasters. And also another issue that we had recently was the ringgit's down to a 10-year low against the US dollar. And this is proving to be quite difficult for Malaysia's economy, which is currently struggling a lot, and it's in the process of boosting exports, and maybe that can see some improvement. So we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you more news from all over Southeast Asia, so stay tuned.
ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hello and welcome back to Duran ASEAN. You're still with Gowri here on our ASEAN Daily, where we bring you news from all over Southeast Asia. And today we'll be discussing some news with you from our Thursday segment of ASEAN Daily. So for our socio-cultural part of the ASEAN Daily today, we have something about a page advisor app for hiring home and lifestyle services that has been launched in Malaysia. And this page advisor app is also Southeast Asia's first real-time mobile platform app, which allows consumers to easily hire local service providers using just a smartphone. And it has arrived in Malaysia following its successful launch back in Singapore in May. And this app is apparently the smartest and the most convenient way for you to engage in any form of service provider. So you can choose whether you want aircon technicians, plumbers, electricians, movers, photographers, laundromats, hairstylists, makeup artists, and the list goes on and on and on. There are a ton of service available, and there are a lot of companies that has participated in this app, and consumers can identify and hire a service provider in just 3 steps within 3 minutes. So go ahead and give it a try. And we also, according to the CEO Fabian Lim, said we are very excited to bring these benefits to Malaysian consumers, and Malaysian smartphone users will now be able to engage in service providers in just 3 steps
within 3 minutes. And Fabian is also the best-selling author of the book Work Anytime, Live Anywhere. And he also went on to say that Page Advisor is the only product which provides a full loop of service, all the way from sourcing to payment and also to the resolution. And it seems that anyone looking to engage a merchant through the app just needs to choose from the Page Advisor's list of home and lifestyle services. And you can also answer a few short questions, fill in the date and time, and the job will be done for you. And users can also expect to receive multiple quotes, so you can actually pick the best company that's offering you the best price within minutes of submitting the job request. So you can even make comparisons to see which company is giving you the cheapest and the most effective service. And the company has also entered agreements with over 1,500 companies and businesses in Malaysia, which is quite a huge number, and it's quite convenient for everyone as well. And to celebrate its launch, Page Advisor is also giving first-time users a rebate of up to 20 ringgit. So if you want to sign up for Page Advisor, do it by the 31st of July and you will get your 20 ringgit rebate. And it's great that we do have our very own app, which is also the first app in Southeast Asia using real-time mobile platform. This is something for us to be proud of as well. Congratulations to Fabian Lim for making it happen. And another thing before we wrap things up for our Thursday morning is, of course, the image of Pluto, where we finally know what Pluto looks like for real, without merely observations and scientific conclusions. And NASA has unveiled surprise Pluto photos and New Horizons as it happened, and they have come up with a few key facts about Pluto's surface and high-resolution image. So I'm going to share it with you. And the first thing is, the close-up of Pluto's surface actually shows icy mountain range that can go up to 11,000 feet, and there's also evidence of water ice, and mysteriously no craters so far. And the lead scientist Alan Stern has said that these images actually show surprisingly diverse activity on Pluto, and he doesn't think that any of us could have imagined that it was a good toy store. And this first resolution image as well also shows the planet's largest moon and orbital partner, as well as revealed an active and puzzling world. Apparently it has a lot of cliffs as well, and canyons that run from 4 to 6 miles deep. And apart from that, Stern, Spencer, and Olkin, his partner scientists, and almost everyone at NASA has had a briefing expressing their elation about the surprise data so far. And Stern said that over the 20 years of him observing Pluto, his prediction was that Pluto would be something wonderful, and this has actually exceeded his expectation. And they also discovered the New Horizon, which is now more than 1 million miles past Pluto and is voyaging out into the Kuiper Belt. So expect to hear more from our solar system now that they have New Horizons going out up there and exploring all the other planets that we never even knew existed. So that'll be all for our ASEAN Daily for this Thursday morning. That's right, it's Thursday, but it actually does feel like Friday. I'm sure all of you feel the same as well, probably in the mood for Hari Raya. So Selamat Hari Raya from all of us at Durian ASEAN. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the daily podcasts. As always, listen to us on durianasean.com, or you can download our very own app from your app store. So stay tuned. We have another interview coming up at 9 o'clock later.